Here's what most people don't realize. They keep looking for signs that their abundance is coming tomorrow, next week, next month. But what if the real question wasn't when your financial breakthrough is going to arrive? What if it was about recognizing what this waiting period is teaching your mind? That's the shift. Learning to keep your energy stable when the external world seems financially stagnant. In this conversation, I'm inviting you to see your money blocks in a completely different way. And by the time we reach the end, you'll understand why your financial journey was never behind schedule. It was operating at a much smarter pace than you ever imagined. The weight of lack of money and what it's actually installing. People use the word stuck all the time. They look around and say, the path is blocked, opportunities are closed. The momentum has disappeared. But here's the new way to see it. What if this apparent standstill wasn't a block at all? What if it was the universe initiating a complete shift, quietly removing everything that would break under the pressure of your next financial rise? The blocking period isn't punishment from the universe. It's recalibration. It's life itself slowing down your forward movement so that the foundation of your being can catch up to the size of what you're calling in financially. Nobody likes the pause because it feels like giving up. But it's exactly when your power is being rebuilt at the foundation. You see, most forward movements announce themselves loudly. New jobs, new connections, new milestones you can show off, but the most important evolution doesn't make any noise at all. It's the complete transformation of your internal operating system. When your external reality becomes perfectly still, that's what creates the feeling of heaviness. You're using every drop of energy to stay present long enough for the old programming of money scarcity to dissolve completely. But from anyone else's perspective, nothing looks different. So your mind starts interpreting this as proof of failure when actually something profound is growing beneath your awareness. Imagine someone who invested months trying to land what they believed was their dream job. They went through every interview stage, pictured themselves sitting at that desk, mentally rehearsed their first morning there, and then the opportunity vanished. Everyone around offered the same empty comfort about things not being meant to be. Those words never helped because it felt like the rejection defined their worth. But 12 months later, they found themselves leading a project in a completely unexpected field, one that actually honored their talents and brought fulfillment instead of exhaustion. In that moment, the previous rejection started showing its purpose. They weren't unqualified. They were being redirected until their entire system could handle the level of alignment that position required. This same pattern shows up in financial connections. You meet someone who seems to have everything you've been looking for, and then the connection falls apart. It creates pain because you interpret it as losing possibility. But here's the deeper truth. You lost incompatibility. Sometimes life will remove exactly what reinforces your unhealed places financially. So, you can finally experience true restoration. Moving through that space between almost and actually is where emotional mastery develops. You start understanding your feelings instead of letting them control your choices. You develop self-trust because you were forced to rely on your internal knowing when the silence stretched beyond comfort. These are the forms of improvement that visible achievement can never measure, but they're exactly what prepares you for true alignment. This is systems thinking in motion. Every functioning system operates through inputs, processes, and outputs. The waiting period represents input time. It's when your internal mechanisms recalibrate, when accumulated data gets cleared, when emotional issues get resolved. We usually resist this stage because it lacks glamour. It's repetition, introspection, rebuilding. But without this foundation, the entire process becomes unstable. Imagine trying to run an advanced program on a completely overloaded computer. You can't force the execution. You must create capacity first. Waiting functions as your internal optimization process. Divine timing isn't about the cosmos playing with your desires. It's about proper sequence. You can't integrate certain possibilities until the version of you capable of sustaining them is fully developed. This means that delay isn't punishment. It's preservation. Every postponed dream, every rejection, every silence following a brave action is valuable information. You're not off your path. The system is still integrating. Releasing what you wanted might actually confirm that you're moving correctly because alignment naturally removes what doesn't belong in your field. It looks like chaos immediately before crystallizing into perfect clarity. The universe won't allow something to remain in your experience if it would destabilize your foundation later. That's the level of precision operating here. The very loss that created doubt about your direction might have been confirmation that your internal filtering system finally activated to screen out what no longer matches your frequency. And this means the waiting doesn't carry waste. It's gestation. A seed can't germinate under constant stimulation. It needs darkness. This transition phase you're living through isn't emptiness. It's hidden construction. The system is encoding new conditions through your reality, preparing support structures, aligning people who will recognize your transformation the instant your signal becomes clear. Now, if only that signal could remain uninterrupted. But that's where interference usually enters, because the moment we start measuring our progress against someone else's timeline, we scramble the frequency. We introduce noise that blocks what was already moving in our direction. This becomes the next layer of understanding, how comparison transforms that clean internal flow into noise and prevents your system from receiving what your evolution has been trying to transmit continuously. The comparison trap, how misalignment interrupts the signal. Have you noticed how comparing your timeline instantly drains your energy? This isn't random. It's your system dropping the connection. Comparison functions as interference, a subtle distortion that infiltrates your internal algorithm and starts rewriting your attention. What used to feel like clarity transforms into noise, and before you can even notice, you're chasing someone else's rhythm instead of refining your own. Every scroll through your phone, every observation, every thought of, "I should be further along by now," amplifies this interference until your entire energetic field feels chaotic. It's not that you lost your way, it's that your signal got contaminated with noise that was never made for your system in the first place. When you measure your movement against someone else's, your internal navigation starts failing. It's subtle. Maybe you start modifying your goals to match what's trending, or you compromise your standards just to keep the pace with metrics that have no relevance to your journey. Suddenly, work that once felt purposeful feels fake. That's how misalignment creeps in. You stop operating from authenticity and start operating from competition. And here's where it gets complex. Comparison doesn't initially appear harmful. It disguises itself as inspiration. It tricks you into thinking, if they can do it, so can I. But beneath that surface, it's redirecting your attention away from genuine expression and toward seeking approval. That immediate urge to prove yourself, to post faster, produce at higher volume, achieve more visibly, isn't genuine motivation. It's distortion. It's like your system recording corrupted data. You interpret someone else's win as a measuring tool for your worth. And in that transition, you lose calibration. Consider those nights you spent scrolling through feeds after a difficult day. You see someone launching a business, traveling somewhere beautiful, announcing an engagement, celebrating a promotion. Initially, you feel a spark of inspiration, but within minutes, your body starts contracting. You start calculating. They're my age. They started after me. What am I missing? This mental spiral activates scarcity mode, not because you actually want what they have, but because you feel like you're losing ground in a competition you never consciously entered. It's like trying to tune into a radio frequency while simultaneously broadcasting interference. You can adjust the dial endlessly, but no matter how intently you listen, the transmission never comes through clearly. The interference is comparison. It distorts your unique frequency, so nothing in your environment truly resonates. And the paradox is that while you're busy decoding someone else's transmission, you're silencing your own. Psychology confirms this understanding. Social comparison theory shows how continuously measuring your progress against others diminishes self-esteem and clarity. It overloads the mind with contradictory information about how achievement should look. This confusion forces your internal system to process damaged data that generates frustration and mental fog. The more energy you invest monitoring others' journeys, the less you invest honoring your own development. You can't optimize two distinct systems simultaneously. You either tune into their frequency or yours. From a systems perspective, think of this as running outdated programming. Every time you compare, you import corrupted input. This damaged data creates processing bottlenecks. Your choices become sluggish, your creative flow gets blocked, and your results feel misaligned. So you label it as burnout or inadequacy when it's really just incompatibility. Incorrect input can't generate appropriate output. Simple systems logic. If this understanding is shifting something in you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you stay connected to this frequency of consciousness exploration. The encouraging truth is that systems self-correct once interference stops. The instant you withdraw from comparison, your internal environment begins restabilizing. Focus returns to authenticity, and you feel your energy finding balance again. When you stop needing external validation of progress, your creativity starts flowing naturally again. The interference dissolves. You start perceiving your own intuition with greater clarity. You notice the subtle signs, the perfectly timed message, the unexpected encounter, the small possibility that leads somewhere meaningful. Flow reinstalls because your system recognizes its own signal again. You stop forcing outcomes and start harmonizing with them. That's when the universe can finally receive your authentic transmission. And that's the turning point. Because once you stop broadcasting interference, external reality doesn't stay static. It reorganizes. Situations transform. People appear. Timing synchronizes. What once resisted you starts responding to you, not because you intensified your effort, but because the signal became clear. And that's where we're moving next. The moment alignment establishes and everything around you starts restructuring to match your new vibration. Alignment activation when the universe locks onto your frequency. What if the universe wasn't delaying the perfect moment but simply waiting for you to broadcast the correct frequency? That's the revelation most people never catch. They see timing as this external mechanism, some mysterious force holding them back. But actually, life doesn't pause because it opposes you. It pauses because your frequency hasn't stabilized yet. The instant internal alignment establishes, the system doesn't ask permission. It simply initiates. You can almost feel when it happens. Something releases. You stop demanding that things speed up and start trusting they'll manifest. But it's deceptive, because immediately before this transition, intensity increases. Many people abandon their path right there in that space before the turn. They interpret silence as proof that nothing is happening when actually the system is synchronizing. It's the final moment before expansion, like the exhale immediately before the inhale. The system can't update mid-cycle. It must complete first. That's where impatience creeps in and makes people quit processes that were moments away from completion. Here's what changes. Once you stop forcing results and start operating from clarity, new possibilities tend to appear in waves. Consider a creator who used to obsess over numbers. They would post, monitor, overanalyze, and end each day exhausted. Eventually, they reached complete burnout and stepped back. Not the superficial kind where you say you're disconnecting, but constantly check your phone. A genuine pause, just creating in silence again. Not for numbers, but for nourishment. Within weeks, a spontaneous piece they created with zero attachment gained significant traction. Not because they tried harder, but because their energy stopped blocking results. Their clarity became the input. This new input reorganized everything. Who discovered their work? What opportunities manifested? And how did their confidence stabilize? In systems language, this is the eternal pattern: input, process, output. When input transforms from control to trust, the process restructures automatically. Clarity and surrender function as purified data. They eliminate old bugs that used to obstruct the program. Suddenly, you start receiving intuitive guidance you previously missed. A message that arrives exactly when you need it. A stranger offering exactly the support you were too proud to ask for. That's the process healing itself. Once the fundamental architecture is stable, the system must generate coherent output. This output might manifest as visible success or inner peace, but it's actually the external reflection of updated programming. Divine timing is romanticized as if it were some inaccessible mystery. But it's actually systematic. When readiness meets surrender, patterns synchronize. Think of a seed. When the conditions of soil, light, and pressure align correctly, growth happens automatically. You don't command it to emerge, you simply nurture the environment. That's divine timing in action. It's not a prize you earn. It's a natural response when conditions match the blueprint. Most people misidentify the transition as miraculous. They label it as luck, an unexpected gift, the universe finally giving in. But when you trace it backward, the shift usually began when they stopped performing, when they let go. There's a difference between chasing alignment and embodying it. The moment you settle into your truth, all the processes that belong to that vibration start clicking into place. You call it coincidence, but the system is simply reflecting your frequency. Consider someone who experienced continuous rejection. Job interviews, creative proposals, collaborations, all pathways blocked. Eventually, they exhausted themselves trying to prove their worth. They stopped over-justifying, stopped contorting to fit into opportunities, and finally started honoring their work privately. Weeks later, one of those previous contacts reconnected. Different energy, better offer, nothing mystical about it. The transmission had changed. Their desperation had interrupted the system. Their acceptance restored it. That's what alignment does. It forces external reality to reorganize. The system literally has no choice but to mirror your new configuration, and once it initiates, opportunities that previously seemed impossible start falling like synchronized dominoes. People call it manifestation, but it's more precisely synchronization. The system reads your calibration and adjusts its outputs to match. When you understand this, you stop chasing timing entirely. You recognize that the waiting wasn't wasted. It was updating you so that timing could find you prepared. And once this awareness integrates, something fundamental shifts. You look around and feel it. Your winning moment isn't approaching. It's already activating. The instant your internal rhythm synchronizes with what the universe has been preparing to deliver continuously. Your winning moment isn't hidden in the future. It's been operating since the second you stopped resisting what's already aligned for you. The universe didn't need convincing. It needed cooperation. Every delay, every closed path, every long period of apparent nothing was synchronizing you closer to the flow, not further from it. But here's what the original perspective often misses. And this is where the deeper understanding takes everything further. Your waiting station isn't just building patience or character, it's actually encoding you with a completely new operating frequency. Think of it this way. Every delay experience is actually your consciousness downloading new perception software. The frustration you feel isn't proof of being stuck. It's the sensation of your old reality tunnel collapsing while a new one constructs itself. Most people abort the process right here because they mistake the discomfort of transformation for proof they're moving in the wrong direction. What neuroscience reveals is that your brain can't distinguish between deeply imagined experience and physical reality. During your waiting station, while nothing appears to be moving externally, your neural pathways are literally rewiring based on the vision you hold and the frequency you sustain. Every moment you choose to remain aligned despite external proof is sculpting new neural corridors that will eventually become the highways your reality travels. This isn't metaphorical. This is measurable brain plasticity working in your favor. The quantum field responds not to your words or even your thoughts, but to your state of being. When you can maintain the frequency of already having while still in the waiting station, you're not pretending. You're becoming. You're embodying the version of you that exists in the reality where your breakthrough already happened. And here's the part that changes everything. The quantum field doesn't experience linear time the way your conscious mind experiences it. To the field, your future self who already won and your current self who's waiting are happening simultaneously. When you align with your future self's frequency now, you're not attracting your victory. You're becoming continuous with it. That's why people who maintain their alignment during delays often experience what seems like sudden breakthrough. It's not sudden. It's external reality finally catching up to the internal frequency they've been maintaining. Think of it this way. You've been living in a reality where your victory exists but hasn't materialized yet, because there was a frequency gap between who you were and who you needed to become to sustain it. The waiting station is the bridge. Every day you maintain your frequency. Despite zero external proof is a day you're closing that gap. And the moment the gap closes completely, your external reality has no choice but to reorganize around your new frequency. Here's the practice most people never discover. During your waiting station, you have access to a specific window of consciousness that won't be available once your breakthrough arrives. In this space between wanting and having, you can observe your patterns with crystal clarity. You can see every fear, every doubt, every old story that would have sabotaged your success if left unexamined. The waiting station is giving you the gift of finding every part of you that isn't ready yet, so you can integrate it before your victory arrives. That's the hidden intelligence of divine timing that most teachings completely miss. When you understand this, your entire relationship with waiting transforms. You stop seeing it as time being wasted and start recognizing it as your consciousness being forged. Every day that passes without visible proof of your advancement is a day your capacity to maintain your advancement is expanding. You're not waiting for your turn. Your turn is happening now in the invisible realms of consciousness, frequency, and quantum probability. External manifestation is simply the final step in a process that's been developing all along. Let me take you deeper into the mechanics of this because understanding the architecture changes everything. There's a concept in quantum physics called superposition. It means a particle exists in all possible states simultaneously until it's observed. Your life operates on the same principle. Right now, infinite versions of your future exist in superposition. The version where you win exists right alongside the version where you don't. The version where everything aligns exists simultaneously with the version where nothing moves. They're all real. They're all happening. The question isn't which one will happen. The question is which one you're collapsing into reality through your observation, through your frequency, through your consistent state of being. Most people don't realize they're constantly collapsing possibilities into reality through the frequency they broadcast. When you spend your waiting station in anxiety, in doubt, in the energy of when is it going to happen, you're actually collapsing the timeline where it continues not happening. You're observing from the frequency of lack, and the quantum field has no choice but to keep generating more experiences that match that observation. But when you shift your observation, when you start seeing from the frequency of, it's already done, I'm just waiting for physical reality to catch up, you collapse an entirely different timeline. You're no longer creating from lack. You're creating from fulfillment, and fulfillment creates more fulfillment. That's quantum law. Now, what we've explored here today is the foundation of conscious frequency transmission, but it only touches the surface of how to actually master this process and move from unconscious transmission to becoming the conscious broadcaster of your reality. If you're ready to go deeper into the complete system of how frequencies work, how to identify when you're stuck in survival noise versus coherent transmission, and how to embody the 9 master frequencies that shift you from seeking to being, I've created a comprehensive guide called The Vibrational Awakening, the Quantum Code of Manifestation. That's where I take you through the step-by-step practices of transforming from someone who waits for alignment to someone who becomes alignment itself. It's in the pinned comment link below. This is why affirmations alone rarely work, because you can say, I am abundant, 1,000 times. But if you're saying it from a place of trying to fix your lack, you're still broadcasting lack. The quantum field doesn't hear your words. It reads your frequency. It feels your state. When you can embody abundance while still in the waiting station, not because you're forcing it, but because you truly understand that waiting is part of abundance. That's when everything changes. You're no longer trying to get somewhere. You've arrived energetically. And once you arrive energetically, physical arrival is just a matter of time collapsing. Pause for a moment and share in the comments what frequency you're choosing to embody now, even while you're still in your waiting station. What state of being are you claiming before the proof arrives? Here's another layer most teachings ignore. Your waiting station is also clearing your energetic field of attachments that would limit your breakthrough. Think about it. Every time you desperately wanted something and didn't get it, you formed an energetic attachment to that specific outcome. That attachment becomes a filter through which you see all future possibilities. It narrows your field of reception. The universe might be trying to deliver something 10 times better, but you can't see it because you're still attached to the original thing you wanted. The waiting station forces these attachments to surface so they can dissolve. Every moment of disappointment, every closed door, every no is actually loosening your grip on how you think things should look. And that loosening is what creates space for something beyond your current imagination to enter. This is where surrender becomes the most powerful creative force available to you. Not surrender as giving up. Surrender as releasing your limited vision so the universe can deliver its unlimited vision. When you can hold your desire lightly enough to not be attached to exactly how it manifests, you open yourself to receive in ways you never could have orchestrated with your conscious mind. The waiting station teaches you this surrender not through philosophy, but through direct experience. It keeps not giving you what you want in the exact form you wanted it until you finally release your grip on the form and start trusting the essence. And the moment you trust the essence, the form appears in ways that exceed what you originally wanted. There's also a biological component happening that nobody talks about. Your nervous system has a specific capacity for joy, for success, for receiving. This capacity is called your window of tolerance. If your breakthrough came before your nervous system expanded its window of tolerance, you would literally sabotage it. Your system would interpret that much positive change as unsafe and create problems to bring you back to familiar levels of stress or struggle. That's why people who win the lottery often lose everything. Not because they're irresponsible, but because their nervous system couldn't handle that much expansion. It registered as threat, not gift. Your waiting station is systematically expanding your window of tolerance. Every day you remain aligned while nothing visible changes is a day you're teaching your nervous system that safety exists outside of struggle. You're reconditioning your automatic responses. You're proving to your body that you can feel good without waiting for external permission. And this reconditioning is essential because when your breakthrough comes, your nervous system won't panic. It won't create drama. It will simply say, yes, this is safe. This is sustainable. This is who we are now. Without this preparation, even the greatest breakthrough becomes unsustainable. It's also why people who skip the waiting station through shortcuts or forced manifestation often find their success feels empty or slips away quickly. They got the external result but didn't get the internal transformation. They got the prize without becoming the person who can maintain the prize. And the universe is precise. It will always eventually remove what you're not energetically prepared to sustain. Not as punishment, but as protection. Because holding something you're not ready for creates more suffering than not having it at all. So, when you're in your waiting station feeling like nothing is happening, recognize that everything is happening. Your consciousness is expanding. Your frequency is stabilizing. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Your energetic field is clearing. Your quantum possibilities are reorganizing. Your future self is reaching back through time to guide you. Your ancestors are celebrating the healing you're doing. Your DNA is literally restructuring based on your new beliefs and emotions. None of this is visible, but all of it is essential. And here's what's happening at the energetic level that science is just beginning to understand. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field that extends several feet beyond your body. This field carries information about your emotional state, your beliefs, your frequency. When you're in your waiting station maintaining alignment, your heart field is broadcasting a specific signature into the quantum field. This signature acts like a beacon. It attracts circumstances, people, and opportunities that match your frequency. But here's the crucial part. Your heart field is constantly being read by other heart fields around you. When you maintain stable frequency during waiting, you're not just changing your own reality. You're influencing the field of everyone you encounter. That's why some people seem to carry luck with them. Why do opportunities find them? Why do doors open in their presence? It's not luck. It's coherent heart field resonance. Their electromagnetic signature is so clear, so stable, so aligned that it literally reorganizes the field around them. And you develop this coherence not through success, but through maintaining alignment during waiting. Every moment you choose faith over fear, trust over control, presence over anxiety. You're strengthening your heart field coherence. You're becoming a walking probability shifter. There's also a concept in quantum physics called entanglement. When two particles become entangled, they remain connected regardless of distance. If you change the state of one, the other changes instantly. Your consciousness is entangled with your desired reality. The moment you change your internal state, your external reality must eventually change to match. But there's a time delay in the physical realm. This time delay is your waiting station. It's not that nothing is happening. It's that the quantum shift already occurred and physical reality is catching up. When you understand this, waiting becomes exciting instead of frustrating. You're not waiting for something to happen. You're watching something that already happened in the quantum field slowly materialize in the physical. Think of it like ordering something online. The moment you click buy, the transaction is complete in the digital realm, but there's still a shipping period before the physical item arrives at your door. During this shipping period, you don't panic and think maybe it's not coming. You know it's coming because the transaction already completed. Your waiting station is the shipping period. The quantum transaction already happened the moment you aligned with your desire. Now, you're simply waiting for physical reality to deliver what's already yours in the field of infinite possibility. This new way of seeing changes everything. You stop anxiously wondering when it will happen and start peacefully knowing it's already done. I'm just waiting for delivery. This shift from anxious anticipation to peaceful knowing is itself the frequency adjustment that accelerates delivery. Because remember, the quantum field responds to your state of being. Anxious anticipation broadcasts, "I don't have it yet," which keeps generating more waiting. Peaceful knowing broadcasts, "It's already mine," which accelerates manifestation. Same desire, different frequency. Completely different timeline. Take a moment and comment below with this phrase. My signal is clear. I am ready. Not as hope, but as declaration to the quantum field itself. Let it be your conscious interruption in the old cycle. Your energetic signature saying, this is the moment I choose to align. Here's what starts happening as you approach the turning point. Time itself begins to feel different. You might notice synchronicities increasing, numbers appearing repeatedly, songs playing with lyrics that speak directly to your situation, conversations with strangers that contain exactly the message you needed. These aren't coincidences. They're confirmations that your frequency is locking onto the timeline where your breakthrough exists. The universe is essentially saying, yes, you're getting closer. Keep going. You're almost there. You might also notice people from your past suddenly reappearing. Not randomly, but because your new frequency is activating old connections in new ways. Sometimes the opportunity you've been waiting for comes through the most unexpected person. Someone you haven't spoken to in years reaches out right when you've completely released attachment to how your breakthrough should arrive. This isn't luck. It's the field reorganizing to match your new vibration. Your release of control allowed the universe to use pathways you never would have consciously chosen. Another sign your turn is coming is the appearance of what I call boundary tests. These are moments where the universe checks if you're truly ready. You might receive an offer for something that looks like what you wanted, but doesn't feel quite right. You might experience temptation to compromise your standards because you're tired of waiting. You might face a situation where choosing alignment means potentially waiting even longer. These aren't obstacles, they're final calibrations. The universe is ensuring you won't settle for almost good enough when the real thing is about to arrive. The people who pass these boundary tests are the ones who move forward with something that's actually sustainable and fulfilling. The ones who fail these tests get what they thought they wanted, and then realize it wasn't what they truly needed. If this exploration is touching something deep within you, if you feel the truth of these words resonating in your body, then I invite you to subscribe not just to this channel, but to this frequency. This isn't about content consumption. It's about joining a space where consciousness expansion is the foundation. Subscribe to stay coherent, to stay elevated, to stay connected to this movement of people who understand that reality responds to frequency. You might also experience what feels like a dark night of the soul right before your breakthrough. Everything you thought was solid starts feeling uncertain. Old wounds resurface. You question everything you've been building toward. This isn't a sign you're going backward. It's the final clearing. Your system is releasing every last piece of old programming that would interfere with your new reality. It feels like falling apart because, in a way, you are. The old version of you is dissolving completely, so the new version has room to emerge fully. Most people interpret this as failure and give up right here. But if you can recognize it for what it is, a cocoon moment, a death before rebirth, you'll move through it and emerge transformed. And then often, when you least expect it, when you finally stopped watching the door, it opens. Your breakthrough arrives not with fanfare, but with quiet knowing. It might look smaller than you imagined or different than you planned, but it feels right in a way nothing else ever has. And you realize in that moment that every delay, every detour, every disappointment was guiding you here. To this specific opportunity that fits you so perfectly, it feels like it was designed with you in mind, because it was. It was waiting in quantum superposition for you to become the version of yourself who could receive it without resistance. Your winning moment doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It arrives in the stillness you've been cultivating. It finds you at the frequency you've been maintaining. It recognizes you because you became it. And suddenly the waiting station makes complete sense. You're not grateful it's over. You're grateful it happened because you realize that version of you who entered the waiting station couldn't have maintained what this version of you is about to receive. The waiting wasn't delay. It was the delivery system for your transformation. If this transmission landed deeply for you, consider watching this again tomorrow morning to anchor these frequencies before your day begins. And if someone in your life is going through their own waiting station, share this with them. That act of sharing doesn't just help them. It creates an energetic ripple that reinforces these truths in your own field, accelerates your own manifestation, and strengthens the collective frequency we're all building together. Your sharing becomes part of your own quantum transmission. There's also a spiritual dimension to this that transcends quantum mechanics, though they're intimately connected. Your soul has a blueprint, a map of experiences, lessons, and transformations. It came here to complete. Your waiting station is often a soul-level recalibration where your human desires align with your soul's blueprint. Sometimes what you think you want isn't what your soul came here to experience. The waiting station creates a space for this misalignment to reveal itself and for your desires to evolve to match your soul's true calling. When this alignment happens, when human will and soul purpose become one, that's when the floodgates open. Because now the full force of your soul's intention is behind your desires, and nothing can stop that kind of aligned force. That's why some breakthroughs feel so certain, so destined, so inevitable when they finally arrive. It's because they weren't just about getting what you wanted. They were about becoming who you truly are. The waiting station removed the false desires, the ego attachments, the conditioned wants that weren't truly yours. What remains is pure soul desire. And soul desire always manifests because it's in alignment with the universe's intelligence. Your soul and the universe aren't separate. They're made of the same consciousness. When your soul desires something, the universe is essentially desiring through you, and the universe always fulfills its own desires. As we close, I want you to do one more thing. Leave a word in the comments that captures the energy you're choosing to embody moving forward. Just one word that represents your frequency, your intention, your commitment to alignment. Let it be your energetic signature to the quantum field. And hit that subscribe button, not just to stay connected, but to stay coherent with this truth. Because the more of us who embody this understanding, the more the collective field shifts to reflect it. Your breakthrough isn't isolated. It's part of a greater awakening, and your turn to win isn't coming. It's already here. Your signal has cleared. The frequency has locked. The quantum field has received your transmission. The universe has heard your soul's call. Your ancestors are celebrating. Your future self is reaching back and physical reality is reorganizing to match who you've become. Now, all that remains is the unfolding. Trust it. Embody it. Become it. Because alignment never rushes and never ever arrives late. Your turn isn't coming. It's here now in this moment, in this breath. You just won. Welcome home. Now, if you're recognizing these patterns in your life and want to understand how to completely master this art of vibrational alignment, how to consciously accelerate your breakthrough, and how to become a master transmitter of your desired reality, you need to access the complete guide that contains the exact quantum breathing techniques, the cosmic intuition activation protocols, and the precise methods for consciously navigating between abundance frequencies. The Vibrational Awakening. The Quantum Code of Manifestation isn't just an ebook. It's your personal manual for operating as a conscious reality architect. Within it, you'll discover how your breath literally becomes the most powerful tool for recoding your reality in the quantum field. How to develop quantum certainty that makes manifestation inevitable. How to tune your frequency to natural financial abundance. How to awaken your quantum intuition to receive precise cosmic guidance. And how to consciously navigate to the versions of reality where your highest dreams are already established experience. The link is in the first pinned comment. Your vibrational awakening journey is just beginning. What you've felt so far was recognition. What comes next is complete mastery. Access the guide. Complete your transformation. Become the conscious creator you were always meant to be.